Frankie's Magic Football, Part 6, Tyler. Frankie's team gathered around him. They're better than they look, he said. I feel seasick, said Charlie. They're nothing but cheats, fouling all the time, said Louise. Where's the ref gone? Frankie glanced around. The ref was lying in a hammock strung from the mast. He seemed to be asleep. I don't think we'll get much help from him, Frankie said. Behind the hammock, the island looked closer than before, but no more inviting. How long could they last there with no food or water? Perhaps if we had a better goalie, we wouldn't be losing, muttered Max. There aren't even any goalposts, said Charlie. Enough, said Frankie. He hated seeing his teammates arguing with each other. We're going to lose unless we play as a team. Frankie's right, said Louise. I don't plan to lose to a bunch of smelly pirates. Maybe we need to cheat too, said Max. I could always give one of them a little nip on the ankle, slow them down, you know. No, said Frankie. I'm just saying, said Max. It might even up the odds a bit. We're not going to stoop to their level, said Frankie. We play fair. He peered over his shoulder. Captain Cropper had his foot up on the deck rail doing stretches. He flashed Frankie a wide grin. Rolf was showing Scarlet the tattoos on his bulging arms while Tyto stabbed at what looked like a biscuit with his beak. I bet they've never lost before, thought Frankie. That's their weakness. They're overconfident. Look, team, he said. Remember what Donaldo says when we play away from home? Take off those gloves on the bus, said Charlie. No one laughed apart from Max, who gave a doggy chuckle. Not that, said Frankie. He says the pitch might look different, but the game's the same. This pitch looks very different, said Louise. How can we even score? They've got a flying goalie. I might not be able to fly, said Charlie, but I'm not useless. Frankie huddled closer and patted his pocket. We need to distract Tyto, he said, and I've got just the thing. The others listened closely as he explained. It's worth a try, said Louise. Get a move on, bellowed Captain Cropper. I've seen sea slugs quicker than you lot. They turned to face the pillagers. Rolf, Tyto and Scarlet had lined up behind their captain. Cropper hooked his thumbs in his belt. About time, he said. Decided which one you'll eat first on the island? He pointed to Frankie's dog. That fellow looks tasty. Don't count your treasure before it's dug up, growled Max. The cannon fired and a gust of wind sent the smoke drifting back across the deck. Frankie coughed and wiped his stinging eyes, then ran at the ball. He saw the shape of Rolf closing in, so he slid the ball to Louise. She looked up to the crow's nest, as if she was going to shoot. Tyto shot up from the deck and hovered, ready to stop the shot. Frankie fished one of Max's biscuits out of his pocket and hurled it into his hair. The parrot twisted mid-flight, swooped towards the dog treat. Now, said Frankie. As Tyto snapped up the treat, Louise chipped the ball into the crow's nest. 2-2, Max barked. The ref suddenly sat up. What? Where? Oh, 2 apiece, is it? Then the next goal wins it. He shut his eyes and began to snore again. Oops, said Tyto, landing on the rigging. Captain Cropper stamped his wooden leg on the deck in anger. Bird brain, he growled. I'll pluck you bare if you fall for that again. You said this would be easy, said Scarlet. The captain narrowed his eyes and a smile spread across his lips. Time for a change of course, he said. Scarlet sniggered and Rolf grinned, showing his black rotting teeth. Scarlet grabbed a rope and the captain was creeping closer to the mast. Rolf stamped towards the ship's wheel. What are they planning? Frankie wondered. He looked across to his teammates. Be ready, he said. They're up to something. Louise nodded and her eyes darted across the ship suspiciously. Where's Charlie gone? Snapped Max. Frank shrugged. He couldn't see Charlie anywhere. The cannon went off. For some reason, Captain Cropper didn't even move from the mast. He simply raised his hand. Frankie ran for the ball. He was almost there when Captain Cropper lowered his arm and gripped the mast. Rolf swung the wheel violently around, and the ship lurched in the water. Frankie lost his balance and tripped. He saw Louise and Max go sprawling too. As he regained his footing, Frankie saw Captain Cropper casually line up the ball. He gave Frankie a sly wink. Bad luck, kiddies, he said, and kicked the ball perfectly. Frankie stared in horror as it arced up towards the crow's nest. It's all over. But Tyler, it's not all over. There's another chapter left. And you've got to be very good for Daddy so that you can see what happens in the end. So, love you lots and lots, darling. I'll see you tomorrow when you're coming to stay. You be very, very good for Daddy. And we'll have fun tomorrow on Saturday morning. Love you heaps and heaps. Nighty night, darling.